This episode of Critical Hit is being brought to you by Loot Crate. If you're on a magical quest for epic gear, housewares, and collectibles, look no further than Loot Crate, as they offer an epic range of pop culture items for less than $20 a month. If you're more of a fanatical fashionista, then Lootwear is the monthly wearables and accessories subscription that will fill your closet with cult classics and your favorite franchises. And if you want to get fancy, we all want to get fancy, get a bigger box with even bigger loot with Loot Crate DX. Listeners, ready your wands, pre-measure your potions, and get ready for November's enchanting theme, magical. They've cast a powerful ancient spell to deliver you 100% exclusive crate items featuring bewitching items from Doctor Strange, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, and Big Trouble in Little China. Oh, I cannot wait. I bet you can't either, which is why you need to act now. You have until the 19th at 9 o'clock p.m. to subscribe and receive this month's crate, and if you miss that cutoff date, your magical journey is over. So make sure you head over to lootcrate.com/critical, enter the code critical, and save $3 off any new subscription today. Let's jump into the email bag. This one comes from Joshua. Greetings, Critical Hit crew. In Season 5 of Critical Hit, there have been plenty of times the party has had to stop and make camp and set up watches. In seasons past, Ket had his watch twig, and that he gave out. Whatever happened to the watch twig?
I hit people with it now.
But what about during the watch?
Well, now it's imbued with shamanic energies that I don't want to just have everybody use.
All right, fair enough. There you go. There's your email bag this week podcast, majorspoilers.com, and let's get into the show. Critical Hit, a Major Spoilers podcast. Thank you so much for downloading and listening and sharing this episode with a friend. Oh, it's been a while since we've been at the table. It's only been a week since you, the listener, have heard our adventures.
For us, it's been 17 years.
It's been a while. I'm trying to think. The last time we played was maybe in...
3 weeks ago?
3 weeks ago, and yeah.
I was the captain of a trawler ship in the Bermuda Triangle.
So there is Matthew, Rob, and Brian are here. Sam is here.
Hello.
And then Rodrigo is here as well.
I am here as well.
All right, Rodrigo. Then let us get back into this adventure.
Okay.
And the rest.
What is going on?
We have greatly expanded our party.
Yes.
There's like 30 of us now.
Something like that.
So many elves and were-rats.
Yeah, we got a rat and some deva and 3 crazy people and two turntables and a microphone. And
there's a platypus underneath.
I think we've got a lot more than 3 crazy people.
See,
our party exists, and we added the 3 deva.
And 7 elves.
And then there's a bunch of elves and
no, there's more than 7 elves.
I'm sure
elves.
of which at least 2 or 3 of them are crazy.
Yes. I have 7 truants, 7 rats, 12 elves,
7 brides, 7 brothers,
3 devas.
That's a good movie.
Okay, I'm serious too.
Okay, so yes, there are in fact 3 deva, 7 rats, 12 elves, and 7 truants.
12s for short. Just for that, he's going to kill one, so I can't make that joke.
No, that's fine. We would have also accepted a Keebler of elves, although I suppose that would that would have to be a baker's dozen.
Right.
So it would have to be
Wow.
He'd have to kill 2, because then there would be like an Elven 11 joke there.
Yeah.
Elfin?
Elvin's 11, you know.
Anyway, now that is all out of your system and you guys won't make any more jokes.
Right.
My system is enormous.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
You can dream.
He's got a lot of glands for that. So yeah. What is this enormous fellowship traveling to go do?
believe we're heading towards the Salamander Coil's secret backup base to steal back Lek and blow it up.
So that the Deva don't have to.
Hopefully in that order.
Yes.
Because if we don't, then the Deva have the basically the
they have their finger on the button, man.
Yeah, exactly. They're going to come in and wipe
because that is the only way to be sure.
Mm-hmm.
See, I wasn't going to make that joke, and like 3 of you made it, and now it feels dirty.
If they do that, it'll just be game over, man.
Well, it is a bug hunt after all.
Out of your system. Good.
We haven't been here for 3 weeks.
That's true.
That's a good movie, man.
Yep, just throw them all out. Like, I think it, oh no, look out. Danny Glover, it's a predator. Come on, grab your friends.
Paul Reiser! Seinfeld
right.
break. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, now I'm done.
Wow, that was impressive.
You should hear me beatbox.
Sorry.
Did Rob take a swig? That was a bad idea.
Yeah, that's the best time to crack a joke. Because Rob has the can to his
Rob,
mouth.
you've been doing this for years. You should know better.
You should know better.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So yes, there are a bunch of people traveling to the Coil's super secret backup base to rescue Lek, who is a magical artifice scientist man who discovered basically a portal to another dimension, which the Coil is now presumably trying to replicate. Any questions while we're here? Before we get started?
I don't think so.
No.
So we are at a point where we don't have to remember anything that we got beat up last week, because for like a month in a row we'd come back and you'd go, "Did you remember being beat up last week?" And we'd all go, "Yes," except for Rob, and then he'd get the face. So I want to make sure that we're at a point where we don't have to do that.
I don't think Rob ever forgot that he got beat up.
Yeah.
That
sounds like projecting.
More Rob didn't say he got beat up because he actually just didn't get beat up.
Yeah,
that does tend to happen. Anyway, no, you should all be at full health, have all your dailies back, and in fact, since you're recently-ish level 19, you should all have some brand spanking new dailies in your pocket.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yep.
What's my new HPs?
Yep. We'll start as you all travel, and you find yourselves in a craggy mountainside, as your elf guides stop you and motion forward, letting you know that you are almost to your destination.
Are they motioning in such a way that we should presume we need to be silent?
Yeah, they've stopped because there's a possibility of being spotted.
Do we want to split up and spread out and
Yeah, I'll scout ahead.
try to flank?
Seems possible.
While we have time, do you want to put up the telepathic link? Because that way, if things start getting chaotic, we can still communicate with each other.
Sure.
So were we planning on hitting this as soon as we got here?
I doubt we'll have a opportunity to retreat and plan.
Yeah.
Can we see anything of the outpost?
No. But the elves basically have let you know that essentially you guys are kind of in this little pocket. If you climb over the mountain, you should be able to see it. But they know they've heard or they've seen it before, and they think that there might be like lookout posts So this is about as far as they feel comfortable taking a large group, without it being spotted. Like individual scouts might be able to get farther ahead without being seen, but a group this size is going to almost certainly get spotted.
Yeah, so I'd say put up the telepathic link and start. I'll scout with maybe Maba'a, and we can get a better idea of what we're dealing with.
Who else is good at the stealthy?
I would say Maba'a and probably one of the elves.
Yeah, sure.
And you can link up to 8 people?
Yes.
Okay.
So 5.
One of the Devas.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the Queen's Rebellious daughter.
We're probably going to link up.
Yeah, the 5 of us, the Queen's Rebellious daughter, Maba'a, whatever elf wants to be in charge of their ops. And then maybe, possibly, honestly, Tekiatl. He's got the best brains for like bureaucratic logistics, and we might need to get word back from him so he can tell us kind of what we need to do to get past things.
That would be 9, though.
Oh.
There's also the possibility of Teach, who is probably going to hang back, so having somebody on the outside.
Also
Sure.
wise.
So, right now, I'm thinking the 3 scouts go, get the information, come back, and once we know how many groups we're going to split up into, then we can actually figure out who's going to be linked.
Reasonable.
Because we're not going to get all of us, obviously.
No.
So we need at least one person from each group linked up.
Makes sense. All right, then Sparkle, Maba'a, and is there a particular elf that wants to volunteer?
Yep, one of them will volunteer.
Cool.
Ensign Ricky.
Yep.
The one wearing the red tunic.
Then we'll deploy.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me a stealth check.
Absolutely.
I used to think my stealth was okay.
It probably was.
Well, your stealth probably is okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Little
I think Little
Sparkle
Sparkle's
gets-
stealth check is the highest skill check of anyone in the party.
Yeah.
Which is probably good in this case.
Yeah, I mean,
Eh,
she rolled
I
a
have a
4 and got a
+23 to stealth.
31. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay, that's hurtful.
So, Little Sparkle scouts ahead. So, well, I had to make some sort of. It's probably more like this. Little Sparkle scouts ahead.
Nice.
So, here's what you see. After a few steps over this initial crag that you guys are in, you see a not properly a valley, but kind of like this jutting out on the mountain. It is large and has several buildings on it. There's a large central building, 2 smaller buildings relatively close to it, 2 obvious guard towers, and then what appears to be kind of this canopy, which is clearly covering a bunch of locust tanks. From here, you can see people moving around. And you also see that there are basically 3 ways in. You can climb down, like down past it, and come up from the valley below. You can walk down a mountain path, which leads right to it. Or you can try to scale the mountain and basically come at it from above, and I'll get into the issues with each of those. You spot, like right off the bat, 3 active patrols, like 3 groups of coil operatives that are like clearly walking around in a patrol formation, aside from people just kind of walking back and forth between the buildings, although there's not too many of those. As far as the previously, let's see, central building to barrack type things, which can easily hold maybe 100 soldiers. Locust tanks, couple towers, 3 active patrols, yes. So as far as the points of ingress, the ingress below, yeah. So coming up from the valley is probably the most difficult and obvious. It would be very visible, not just by the towers, but by the patrols. The mountain path is obviously well fortified since it's their main path in and out of this place, and it is visible by the towers and patrolled. And then the mountain is partially visible by the towers, but also just looking at it, I mean, it's a very sheer drop into the valleys. So it's very dangerous, and only, super cool mountaineer type should attempt it. Or, somebody who can get around the danger of it being such a sheer cliff face. Any other questions while we're here?
Sure. So how many people are in each of those patrols?
Probably about 4 each.
And then, from what I've seen the mountain elves do I think that maybe they could scale that mountain?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. And then you said that the barracks could hold potentially 100 soldiers. Is that between the 2 of them or each?
It's probably about 50 each.
Cool. And I know this can be hard to estimate, but from the patrols or the people moving around, provided that the barracks were hosting most of the people, do I think that they're actually full, or that they just could have that capacity?
You can give me an insight check.
Sure. Check what that is. Cool. 31.
Okay. You would imagine that although they're not necessarily full, they are probably at least half full, right? There's enough people walking in and out, and you see different people walking between the barracks and the building or swapping out for patrols, that the barracks are are currently housing a significant number of troops, as well as maybe some non-military personnel.
Got it.
So altogether, you should really expect that there are actually plenty of soldiers in this installation.
Then from the towers, are there obvious artillery from there, or are they mostly? Do they seem to mostly be lookout towers?
No, they very much look like lookout towers, but it's hard to tell with the coil. These towers are recent. They were constructed by the coil as opposed to being part of it. Oh, I forgot to point out, there is some older architecture as well.
Sure. Does it track with maybe old Malakali architecture?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's straight up a big, fat guy looking statue with a weird face. It's the Malakali are super into that guy,
I am awesome.
Yep. Yeah, Matt Ehu.
With 4 apostrophes and a silent Q. No one knows why.
As well as a couple other structures.
Are any of those older structures in active use?
They don't appear to be. They're kind of in serious disrepair. But that doesn't necessarily mean that nobody is in there. They just don't seem to be, it's not to say that there couldn't be troops in there, but they're not actively being used as like housing or staging areas or anything like that.
Gotcha. Does the central building have any, like, I guess, kind of tanks or machinery that would make it look along the lines of some of the science stuff that we saw?
Not really. The central building is basically this big disc with kind of a dome on top. It is massive, though. I mean, it like can easily. I mean, it's probably comparable in size, like floor plan wise, to the Black Archive itself, although not nearly as tall.
How vigilant do our patrols appear to be?
Very vigilant.
Okay. So what am I? Okay, so what am I looking at?
Okay. So if you're looking at the map, first off, the kind of tan stuff is just the ground.
Mm-hmm.
On the left side, that brown stuff is the valley below.
Okay.
Anything that is beige or tan or whatever and is touching the side, that's the mountain. That's the mountain side. So I didn't specifically denote the mountain, just assume that that's where the mountain goes.
Sure.
The red dots or asterisks or Rick and Morty eyes are the guard towers. The coil symbol is the
tank area.
Tank area. The gas masks are the barracks.
Mm-hmm.
This whitish dot down here is where the mountain path comes in.
Okay.
And then the statuary is the other prior buildings that are just ruins and stuff.
Gotcha. Is there any evidence of like how they're disposing of waste?
Not directly, no.
Okay. Is there a way for me to kind of time the patrols so that I can like stealth in and get a little bit closer to one of the older buildings, particularly the one that's near the pass?
Basically, if you get close to that building, you will be right on patrol area, and you will be like well within like where the towers can see.
Mm-hmm.
So you wouldn't have to just time the patrols, but also time it so that people in the towers wouldn't see you.
Fair enough. And the same would go with the other old building, I assume?
Yeah, the one that's over by the tower. Like probably the one that they care the least about is the one over by the valley.
Mm-hmm.
But that from the direction that you are would be the hardest to access.
Which direction are we coming from? The south?
Yeah, you would be coming from where the mountain path is, so around here.
All right. Then I'm gonna head back to report in.
Okay. Little Sparkle comes back, as do her companions.
So what are we working with?
It's not good.
Well, duh.
They have secured the perimeter quite well. Basically, there's only 3 ways to get in. The one that has the less chance of them just spotting everyone coming in would be this mountain pass that's above us. They'd be coming in from above the base. But honestly, I don't think any of us, except for the elves and maybe Ket with your fancy gloves and like Sakar if he was doing something special, could use that. Now, that doesn't say that we shouldn't use that, because I think that could possibly give us some element of surprise and possibly draw their attention away from the pass or the valley, which are probably going to be our better options for the rest of us getting in there. Coming in through the valley is going to be the most difficult because it's just super obvious. And the same thing with the mountain pass, honestly, because there's towers that are overlooking it. There's a bunch of vigilant guards. I'd say probably we're looking at least 50 coil operatives. And there's a significant amount of locust tanks.
And we can't come in from the west?
That's the valley, says the elf.
Yeah. So yeah, there's that. There's towers watching it. So it would be super obvious if that's what we're doing.
And so the mountain pass down at the south is the one that only the few people would be able to use?
Yeah, I just would not be confident in the rest of our ability to...
What's the other direction we can come from then?
The pass, the direction we're heading right now.
On the map, north, south, east, or west?
That would be south.
Yeah, this is a mountain path here. Right?
Uh-huh.
That is like a straight up mellow mountain path. It is nice, it is flat and crawling with coil operatives. Right?
Right.
Then you can come in through the mountain on this side, but it's basically a flat, like straight up vertical mountain. Or you can come in from the valley, basically from any of these points, but it's like super easy pickings from the towers, the patrols, the locust tanks, or even the main building to spot you from there.
What might be the benefits of a two-pronged attack?
I mean, forcing them to split their forces so that they don't just bring everything to bear in one direction, especially considering they have locust tanks. We really don't want them to just be shooting all of us at once.
Agreed.
What if we come in from the air?
How would we get into the air?
With your eagles?
Eagles flight.
So the problem is that the towers would spot us, and they could probably get locust tanks set up to start shooting us down before we actually were able to land.
Are any
securely.
locust tanks currently active?
Were they all just under that canopy?
No, there were some that were like undergoing maintenance or something like that, but it did look like the ones that you saw, even if you saw one under the canopy, they had people like parked over there by them.
Oh, sure. I mean, they're not cruising the perimeter, but they're ready to deploy. So there's one possibility that's dangerous, but if we could get in to do a little much more scouting, and I could take a look at some of these older buildings that are there is actually some old Mawakali architecture there. There's maybe some possibility that some of that, there might be tunnels or anything like that if this was used a long time ago. But that's a huge long shot. It would be risking detection.
Yeah, I feel like if we're going to try that, we should probably, the rest of us, be ready to mobilize and be closer.
Yeah, if that doesn't work.
Yeah. Kind of wondering if the majority of us come, from this path, if we couldn't get a few who would be capable to do so, ready to move from the mountain path, and then try to make their way to the tanks and disable the majority of them as they're focused on us.
Well, tanks are from on the opposite side of the mountain path.
Yeah, but it would make it easier for the mountain path to get around behind them while they're pointed our direction.
Mm-hmm.
So, Queen Cervelia's daughter, you said that you got into the archive from the roof. How'd you do that?
I hitched a ride.
With?
Friend.
Is your friend willing to provide more rides?
Nah. He's got to be halfway to Snail Rock Island by now.
Where's Snail Rock Island?
We've been there.
Oh.
It's on the north of the central continent. Why don't you focus on taking out the towers?
Oh, yeah.
That's smart. If we can take out the towers, then we can blind them. I mean, they'll start deploying tanks and the guards, but if we can just get the towers as fast as possible, then we can maybe prevent them from getting a warning. Did I have any idea of like how staffed the towers are?
They're actually pretty thin and pretty tall, so probably no more than 3 people on the top of the tower at a time. If there's anybody below, like if they're there, it wouldn't be like comfortable because basically the towers are mostly just a big thin tube with probably a spiral staircase, and then like a little area on top for them to look at.
Weapons on top of the towers, or are they just literally lookout towers?
As far as I can tell, they're lookout towers. It's always hard to tell with the coil, but I didn't see any obvious artillery.
How easily could they be knocked over?
Well, so here's the thing.
I was thinking,
if we knock them over, it's going to alert everyone else.
Yep.
If we take out the guards in the towers, nobody knows what's going on.
Yep. So say like I could try to sneak back in there with some other people who are also good at sneaking, and we could get into the towers and send a message through the link to let you guys know when you're ready to drop in, and then we can do the 2-pronged attack from the mountain and the path with the towers blind, and we might be able to do a substantial amount of damage before everyone's alerted.
How many invisibility potions do we still have?
I used mine.
I still have one.
Same here.
And frankly, I don't know that I'll need it.
Well, the problem is that even with invisibility, we've seen that vigilant guards will notice noise, and vigilant coil guards will call it in if they notice something. Mm-hmm. So that might not be enough if you're not also naturally quiet.
Right. I'm calculating resources.
Fair.
So we've got at least 2 of the potions left?
Yes.
I think 3 is what you guys counted up.
I heard me and Matthew.
And Sam.
Sam said
she used hers. Okay, right.
Yeah.
Right.
All 5 of us have one, didn't
guard.
we?
Mm-hmm.
I thought we did.
I would have used mine.
When did you use yours?
When we ported over to the other side of
right.
the wall.
Oh.
I guess I
we made or bought other invisibility potions after the scouting mission because they were going to be part of our...
yeah, we had 1 for each of us plus 1 for Lek.
Yes. So, Sparkle used hers. I don't know that anyone else's was used.
Not. Yeah, no.
So we should have 5 of them then.
Are they written in your inventories?
Mine is.
Mine is.
All right. Who else? Be honest now. All right. You have... Sakar has 1, and Ket has 1.
Yeah, I think we only made 3, because that's why Randus and I were riding inside the
tank.
Oh, that could be true.
Because I've got the money count of where the money went, so... And I only see 3 of them.
Okay, we had 1 of each of the potions. The
healing potions.
No. In case we had to go through the sewer.
Yes.
Oh, the breathing? Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't use the breathing potions. We used a ritual to give our own water breathing.
Oh, right.
And I got a gauntlets of swimming and climbing.
Mm-hmm. So do I.
And so do I. I think everybody does, don't they?
No.
Oh.
Yeah. The other 2 didn't really need them.
Okay.
Some of us have natural skill. So, we know we have 2 invisibility potions.
Mm-hmm.
The others were broken or lost.
Or not purchased.
Shh. Broken or lost.
Spoiled.
Somebody didn't put the stopper all the way in.
Put the stopper in. It just evaporated.
Yep. All the fizz is gone.
Yeah. It's all flat. Nobody wants that.
Did you get a count on the tanks?
Was I able to get one from my vantage?
You would estimate, given the size of the canopy and not seeing a lot more around, there are at least 12.
Okay. About a dozen.
All right.
And not much more than 12, definitely.
Where are the towers located again? Show me on the map if you would.
The two
They're
red
the
dots.
red dots. So
The
these
red
little
dots,
squiggly
tower.
dots over here. Yeah, I know. So this one,
Oh,
and here's the other.
Okay.
they're the two slightly darker spots.
I have new glasses. I can see them being kind of orangey.
Hmm.
Or-
Yeah. I mean, they are. It's like a orangey red.
All right.
So
the question then becomes, if we send someone into the towers, those someones are also going to have to be in a twofold maneuver or cross the entire compound to get to the other tower, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Well, so the question, though, Rodrigo, is if you're behind the closest ruin, would the far tower be able to see you from there?
No, the
Yeah,
ruins.
so you only have to take out one.
Well, until you try to make your way across, then the other one would spot you.
Right. But so
yeah,
presumably
if you-
with the barracks and the
pretty much
patrols
any
and
of these
everything else.
buildings do, like, they're all large enough and significant enough that they obscure view from the towers, but then you also have to worry about the patrols.
How tight of a ring are the patrols?
This area is sizable, but it's not huge. And also, all things considered, is fairly open. So the patrols are just kind of like walking, not necessarily the perimeter, but they are kind of walking a path around the
less
main
mountainous
buildings.
edges.
Yeah, basically, if you kind of draw a teardrop shape between, or actually here, just draw a teardrop shape around it.
We got
Let's see
a
how-
battle map.
Yeah, let's see how bad my teardrops are. So, generally speaking, this is the main patrol route.
You're on the wrong level. Oh, there it is.
Why didn't you do that on a new layer?
There's only 3 layers.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
That's not to say, I mean, Little Sparkle saw at least one patrol do a wider thing, basically out to one of the towers while she was there. So that's the main route.
But they will probably divert from that at least.
Yeah, they can and probably do as part of their checklist, you know.
So if we were to commit to taking out a tower or both towers, who do we send?
Me.
And
I don't know. Maybe Maba, maybe one of the elves. It's really a question of how confident they feel in their ability to get in quietly.
One of the towers is much closer to that mountain pass, right?
Mhm.
Yes.
So pretty much whoever would be able to go that way should go that way,
The mountain pass.
and maybe not move until we get the first
Yeah,
tower.
no, I would advise, exactly. I would advise that we deploy the elves to the south of the mountain pass so that they're ready to move as soon as the tower falls. And then send me and maybe some of Maba and the Sewerkin in to take out the tower, the southern tower. Then once the southern tower is taken out, we can start moving our less stealthy assets in to kind of shelter in the ruins to the south. We'll want to give them a better scouting. We might want to send someone in there in advance to also clean out anything that's there, because we're going to try to use that as our base. And then from there, once we've got everyone kind of deployed, again, probably me, and because we don't want to have anyone coming from the mountains that has to go through those tanks. So It would be ideal if we had a third force that we could send in through the valley that could simultaneously take out the northern tower.
How many of the sewerkin are able to actually be rats?
I think all of them.
I assume at least one of the sewerkin is here in the planning meeting, right?
Literally everybody is here listening to you guys.
Okay.
How many of you guys are able to be rats?
All of us.
Okay. You getting across the valley seems way more likely than anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
What with you? I mean, what are they going to do about a bunch of rats?
You're right.
It's a good point. So yeah, the sewerkin take out the northern tower. The elves get into position in the mountains so that they can move on the tanks as soon as the southern tower falls, because we want to be able to just keep those tanks from being mobilized. Considering that the elves are, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but like equipped with spears and other ranged weapons.
Yes.
Yeah, they might be able to start taking out the tank drivers before they can even see what hits them. So meanwhile, me and, I don't know, maybe Sakar, maybe Ket, maybe just me, take out the southern tower. And then we're go. Then we should all have to deal with like trying to time the patrols, but hopefully things will be a bit in chaos, and then we can start raiding the central building and hope it's no black archive.
I'll go with you.
Can you can turn invisible, but your invisibility didn't seem to really work in the when we were scouting the archive. The guards saw straight through it.
That was not my invisibility.
No, is your vampire invisibility better than the potion you had?
I'm not sure how to answer that question.
The problem with it is that it's very... it's key to something specific happening, which might not happen. Really, if that's happening, you're already in trouble. Right? You got my email, right, Matthew? Yeah, that thing I sent you? Okay, good.
I got the thing you sent me.
That thing?
That thing? Yeah, I put that thing on the thing.
How tall are the towers?
They are the 15 meters.
15 or 50?
Yeah.
No one knows what that means!
Yeah,
That's
a little less than 20 yards.
Imperial.
That's like a first down and a half.
A little more than that.
Let's make this complex.
We'll say they're about 8 stories tall.
Or 10. They're 10 Sakars, basically.
Yes.
That's a reasonable measurement. Actually, that is how you would measure it.
So you need to get 11
Normally,
Sakars.
yes.
Make a Sakar ladder.
I like to measure something from a distance you compare.
So
that
says Queen's Rebellious Daughter. So what am I doing?
Oh, right. Yeah. I don't know. What of these plans sound more suited to you and your fellow operatives?
Well, we are a very capable unit. We could pretty much do any of these things. Except maybe taking out the southern tower. The northern tower we might be able to scale down and do. Honestly, I think potions and stuff aside, you guys are not calculating the right resources. You need to look around the room and see what everybody's capable of.
It's a good point. It's a very good point. Teach, any spirit support that you can give us on this? Or, Techie, any ideas on, like, I don't know, how to, for better words, bureaucracy our way in here?
Actually, I was thinking about that. If I can meet a patrol as it's at the edge of the pass, I might be able to talk them into taking me inside. Simply as a bureaucrat that's like investigating or something.
Well,
It's risky, but I
yeah.
might. That way, I might be able to actually take out one whole patrol on my own.
Nice. You think
You're-
you'd be able to take a rat with you as backup, or would that be too much of a risk?
I don't see why not.
Okay.
Great. I like this. Yeah, no, it's good. The fewer patrols we have to deal with, the better. So,
Either way, even if they just go after me, I should be able to just run away and lead them away from you guys.
yeah, no,
Good call.
that's a
Yeah.
great idea.
Teach Strokes his beard. I can probably call down some fog and make it a little harder for people to see you.
Handy.
All right. So you look at the elves. You are all capable in the mountains, obviously.
Yes.
Do you want to come down from the north side and take out the tanks once we've got the towers secured?
We can do that. We have experience fighting against the locust tanks and disabling them.
Okay. And I assume you can take out the drivers just as quickly?
If we were able to surprise them, but for that, the towers would have to be down.
Right. The towers going down is the plan. The plan, as soon as it starts, is not going to work, but the towers going down is part of the plan. Queenie, you said you three would be capable of taking down the north tower?
We would. I mean, we can take down the north tower. The south tower might be harder because, well, we wouldn't be able to dive down in the same way, but also, I'll just throw this out there. Coil technology is scary and all, but it is far, far below what we're used to dealing with. So if you wanted to send us after the tanks, we'd be able to do that as well.
Sorry, what'd you say?
I said coil technology is scary, but it's not that great. It's well below what we're used to dealing with. So if you wanted us to go after the tanks, we could do that as well.
Got it.
Would you
What we
need...
really could use is an idea of what we're going to be dealing with in the central building. And if you can deal with coil technology, my guess is that they're going to have all sorts of nasty traps, possibly passcodes and runes and things like that, but like we saw in the archive.
And that's fine. But also consider that if you don't make it to the central building, then
Fair.
all of that is moot.
Should largely just plan on converging there.
I think you might have to. No matter what, even if you deploy your elves in one direction, your oversight operatives somewhere else, and your rats to another one, you'd still have 3 patrols to deal with, maybe 2 if your bureaucrat can get around it. But that is significantly less, plus whatever's in the barracks.
Oh yeah, good point. We should try to find some way to neutralize the barracks. So much to do.
Yeah.
Long-range explosives? Look at Randus.
I can probably whip something up.
Are the barracks approachable from the east? I mean, obviously the mountains, but...
Yeah, but once you're down from the mountain, that area is actually wide open.
Okay.
And look at the sewerkin. Do any of you have, say the swarm ability or plague magic you talked about?
Yeah, some of us do.
Okay, I'm trying to come up with ways that might be useful for at least, redirecting people or incapacitating people.
How do you carry things when you're a rat?
I don't know. How do we carry things from our rats? Just like a bunch of shrugging rats.
If I gave you,
they
Nice.
just go away.
so if you had, say, a bomb, when you went to rat form, it was just you would just have it when you came back to a humanoid.
Yes.
Okay. Less range, more explosive.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
You guys are my best friends.
Okay.
Was that directed at the rats?
Yes. We had, what, a dozen rats?
Yeah, 7 rats.
7 rats, a dozen
elves.
elves.
Yes.
Like the 12s. 3 crazy people. 3 extra crazy people, anyways.
Can you be more specific?
3 Deva.
Thank you.
What's the elf leader's name?
The elf leader's name is Idololi.
Why do you gotta give me these names I can't pronounce?
Because they are elves.
Idololi. You know,
Ediloli.
like you get at the Chinese restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
Smack you. Ediloli. How many of your people would you need to take out an individual patrol?
To make certain of it, I would want the whole group.
Okay.
And after that, it just depends on how much of a risk do you want to take. A single one of us might be able to take out a patrol if there are 3 of them. But if we do not manage to get the drop on them appropriately, then that operative is almost certainly dead. And our hand is shown.
Fair.
Yeah, I prefer.
I suppose we could split us down the middle, 6 and 6, and each could take out a patrol comfortably. But
That's assuming Techie can get the other patrol. Is Techie, right?
yeah,
Techiaddle.
Yeah. And assuming Techie can get the other patrol into the... or out of the way, let's say. Okay. So... 2 rats to do that. 1 rat with Techie. That leaves 4 rats. The Devas.
So wait, did we get an answer on if Sakar can come with me to take out the southern tower? Because, like I said before, you just didn't move quietly enough. So despite being invisible, you got spotted anyways.
Yeah, people are stupid with their invisibility.
it really depends how you guys want to take out that tower. Because you can try to come down the mountain on the southern tower as well. But then that would be some athletics to do that. Or you can try to go down the mountain pass, hopefully after Tekioro has removed one of the patrols.
When you say athletics, is that instead of stealthing?
No, it's on top of stealthing.
Yeah.
Well, I can do both.
Yeah.
A little better at one than the other.
Yeah, that's the problem.
So
It's like,
I'm guessing that's the case with both of them.
yeah, exactly.
We're the team here, see. One good at one and one good at the other.
And both kind of mediocre at the off stat.
Can we share? Can we, help each other?
You can. I would let you aid another, but all you really give each other is a +2.
Yeah.
So with enough time to plan, Little Sparkle can take Sakar down paths that are going to be less obvious, and also Sakar can basically tie a rope around her if she slips and falls or something like that. But you're only looking really at a +2 bonus to whatever you've got going.
Team Wingfang has a lot going for it, though.
I don't have wings.
Yeah, maybe Featherfang.
Featherfang, which I think sounds
Technically,
good.
I don't always have fangs, so you got that
that's
going
good.
for you, too.
Yeah, but I never have wings.
That's
Team
great.
Spirit Burb.
Team
Then you'd have to be part of it.
Beak
Yeah.
Headband. I think that based on our allocation of resources, this may be the best use of the two of us together. I really feel that we are there are certainly places where any of us could switch back and forth. I think that we can do this.
Okay. Then can I borrow Ket's gloves? Because that would make this a lot easier.
Gloves of climbing and swimming
Yeah.
and
And then you could have a potion of invisibility, and that would help us kind of get there on the edges.
See, Teach, you're not planning on coming into the base with us, right?
I am not.
Okay,
I'm getting a little old for this.
that's fair.
But he could produce fog that'll help you guys get a cover on the mountain pass so that you can get in position, right?
Right.
I can't do that, yes.
Okay.
So we've got elves on tanks, rats on patrols. Who's on Northern Tower?
Elves are on patrols right now.
Deva on tanks.
Deva either on tanks or the Northern Tower. It's kind of up to the 5 rats that aren't assigned as to which one they would be more comfortable attempting to take out. Because
Well, again,
the Northern Tower
and
leaves
when you
with
say
more
take out,
exposure.
define take out. Because if you're
The
thinking,
people
let's
manning
blow
it?
up a
we're
tower.
blowing up the barracks.
Okay.
We can blow up the towers if
No.
we want to blow up. Do you want to blow up the towers?
No, blowing up the tower is a bad idea.
So honestly,
good.
I like elves on tanks because
They've done
it's
it
using
before.
their strategic advantage in the mountains. Deva on Northern Tower, and rats with bombs on barracks.
And the rest of the rats on the patrol? The other 2 patrols?
Yes. Possibly, I mean, if Sakar and I are going in on the Southern Tower, if we time it right, then we might even be able to get some of you guys on one of the patrols.
Mhm.
So we're not spreading the sewerkin too thin.
Sounds reasonable.
How many elves do we need on the tanks?
All of them.
It would have to
Yeah.
be all of us, yes.
It would
Yeah.
have.
Okay.
You would not want to skimp on tank duty.
I am considering myself and Randus on tank duty. Acquiring instead of destroying.
I like it.
Mhm.
So there's maybe one additional thing that you guys should think about, says the Queen Rebellious daughter. Who is essential personnel to get into that building?
That's gonna be maybe Techie's job. If he can get in early to talk to the patrol and get some intel, he might let us be able to give us an idea of who we need to capture.
No. I meant on your team. Who's essential personnel to get into that building?
Who of us has to be part of the building team?
Randus. Ket.
Why?
Which of us does Lek actually know?
Ket.
Cat.
He knows Ket. He met the other
Met.
4.
Yeah, he's met all of you.
He's known Ket longer.
Mhm.
Randus, because anything that needs any tech work, Randus is going to have to take care of.
Honestly, I feel like all 5 of us should be getting into that building, if at all possible.
So
I'm
if all
starting
5 of you are going to try to get into the building, maybe that should be your focus, because if the 5 of you spread out and one group runs into problems, say for example Randus's group, and there's a contraption inside that the rest of you can't get past, or Little Sparkle's group and there's a door that you can't get past, then you're stuck.
Sure. But as you said before, like we can't do anything involving the center if we don't take out all the perimeter. So
So if we presume,
I think Randus and Sparkle are the only people who need to get inside. That'll be necessary once we get in there.
I disagree.
Don't split the party.
No, not even to that level. If Randus and Sparkle were to enter that building and find themselves in combat.
I didn't say they were going by
Well,
themselves. I'm saying they're the two necessary people to get into the building. If the other three of us don't have to get in there with them, they're the two that are actually going to be capable of getting past the defenses. Everything else is brute force, which, just kind of gesture-wide, most of us can deal with. Or can deal. Kind of look at the sewerkin and the elves to see,
We've seen technology created by the coil that required all of us. If we presume that that technology exists, I don't see why we would presume that it's not here.
What technology required all of us?
The kill room?
It was brute force.
Yeah, it didn't quite require all of us. It required some skill, but I think, as Ket says, there's nothing between the two, me and Randus, that couldn't be solved by the two of us that was in the kill room.
Yeah. The only other thing that they need is just extra muscle to take out any additional guards inside the tower, or inside the base. I understand you're wanting to protect them and keep them together, but if you're more useful taking out border patrols or destroying tanks, then I want to put my resources where they're going to make the most effect.
If we presume, taking the advice that we're given, that the five of us should in fact focus on getting to that building, do we have the allocation of resources to do everything that we've intended to do and maintain that force?
We'd have to do some more math. So, all right, if tanks, well, you cross Randus and Ket out of tanks are just elves. Northern Tower is Deva. Patrols are Techiatl, and okay, I think so. Patrols can be Techiatl, and this is tough. Okay, yeah, I can't make the math work out quite right because like barracks are going to be some sewerkin. We can maybe split the sewerkin so we've got barracks and like maybe one patrol and count on one patrol for Techiatl. Actually, do all turn to the Overwatch crew? Can you? I mean, you're probably
Oversight.
very individual. Oversight. Sorry, Overwatch.
That's a different thing.
Well, I mean, I assume not all of you would be necessary to take out one of the tower. You all seem very individually competent.
I guess so. Still, I don't know that one of us would be able to take out patrols quietly.
Reasonable.
Once we get to patrols, and more specifically the barracks, it's not going to be so much quietly anymore.
That's fine. But the towers have to go down quietly.
Yes,
so
right.
one of us on the towers is probably going to be a lot more difficult to do quietly.
Okay. So the three of you on the northern tower quietly. Yeah, I don't see how we take out both towers without at least some of us involved in that. Then the idea is, but I do like keeping us all clustered to the south. So like say me and Sakar in the southern tower, Ket or Randus waiting at the pass under Teach's fog so that we can converge and go into the center together, because then we will have enough. And especially if we allocate Orem, Randus, Ket for a patrol that's going from the south.
Okay.
That sounds viable.
Yes. I think it is.
Bombs.
Okay.
Yes, bombs.
All right, so one more time, walk me through it.
Elves are going after the tanks. Devas are going after the North Tower. Sakar and Sparkle are going after the South Tower. We will have one Sewerkin with Techie who's going to try and get in, use his bureaucratic skills to get into the tower and take one of the border patrols with him. Two more of the Sewerkin will be delivering bombs to the barracks. And the other 5 will take out one of the patrols. Orm, Randus, and Ket will take out the other one.
Here's I can deliver bombs to.
I feel like we're missing something.
The only thing we're possibly missing is the ruins. I didn't think they were being actively used, but they're worth maybe scouting if we can figure out in case there's something in there. We can maybe try to allocate, like, say, 1 Sewerkin apiece to those.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you do, then they won't be able to take out a patrol.
Oh, yeah. All right, then.
The 2 Sewerkin that plant the bombs can go check out the...
Sure. I mean, that's not going to be effectively timely information, but I guess we're hoping that if there is anything in the barracks, it's not going to be relevant to us until we're retreating.
The Maba makes a noise. Like, the Sewerkin that are going into the barracks should be counted out. They need to go back into human form to plant the bombs, which
Right.
means they might be detected, which means you can't count on them getting back out.
Right.
Fair. Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we don't really have the resources to allocate, unless Teach, can you send something in to scout the ruins? You said previously that the Coil was bad at detecting spirits you sent in.
I could try. It depends on what the spirits here are like. A better way of doing it would be if I could actually get something from the valley and talk to it.
That can certainly be arranged. What would you need?
Pretty much anything, a twig, a rock. It might be able to give me a little bit more information.
Yeah, sure. I can do a quick run in to get that, and honestly, that information is going to be good for Sakara anyways.
Agreed.
I go on a primal run.
Okay.
I come back with a bunch of different little things because I can't decide which is best.
They're all shiny.
Mm-hmm.
They're really not. They're all like twigs and rocks and leaves and stuff.
Rocks and leaves and stuff.
Yep,
Exciting.
this'll do. He lays it down. He's like, it's gonna be a few minutes. You guys can keep talking,
May I assist you?
please.
Yeah. As well.
Okay, everybody, give me a nature check. Well, everybody that's assisting.
Yay.
Give vault.
33.
17.
Nat
Ooh.
20 for a 36.
Do I get a bonus for having a cat who won't go away? That's nature.
That's your nature familiar, right?
Yes.
That's how that works.
Yep. It doesn't matter if you beat 10. You're helping.
I'm helping.
So everybody who's in on the ritual can see this kind of snail. Like basically, he's looking at this rock, like this slightly smaller than a fist-sized rock. And those of you that are taking part in the ritual see this glowing tendril come out from underneath it and kind of constitute itself into sort of like a snail if the rock was its shell.
Cool.
And Teach bows, says, "Hello, my friend. We have some questions for you." And the little snail bows. Then he looks at Sparkle. What do you want to know?
I guess if there's anything in the ruins, if they're being used by any of the coil operatives.
And Teach turns to it and tries to describe the ruins roughly. And the little snail thinks about it. No 3x3s that walk inside, but sometimes fire in their mouths, sometimes cards in their hands, sometimes liquid from their bodies.
Okay.
Great. All right, so no official business. Lovely.
How many foreigners to the valley are you aware of in there?
Many. More than this party. New ones every day, some leave.
Okay.
Are there other spirits of note in the valley?
No. Valley is old, but not good old. Dead old. Most are scared away by the light,
What light?
the bright light that burns the world.
This is something the foreigners brought in?
It's something the foreigners are stoking.
Oh boy. How long have they been stoking it?
Days?
How long has the bright light been here?
It wasn't light before. Like fire, it's twigs first.
And they lit it?
Mm-hmm. They're trying.
Well, the plan is to stop it.
Mm-hmm.
Would you know of any paths between the ruins?
I don't think so.
Okay.
You mean besides the new ones walk?
Yes. Anything underground that we wouldn't be able to see without going in?
Some of them have places underground, but they don't go anywhere.
All right.
They're for food or drink.
Storage.
Cellars. Does the light, does it affect the people badly in any way?
I don't know. I'm not good at people.
Does it affect, I know spirits have mostly fled, but was it hurting them before?
It's very bright.
She'll like look at the car. I don't know if it'll affect your snakes, but something to consider.
Does it come from any particular place?
It comes from a big metal place.
Correct me if I'm wrong. The only thing that was really made of metal was the big central building.
Yeah.
Okay. So she'll say the central building. Makes sense. That's all the questions I've got.
I'm satisfied.
As am I.
Very well. Thank you for your help, Spirit. And now rest. The spirit looks around and says, "Good night." And then the snail portion of it disappears, and then there's just a rock.
How often, could you tell how often the towers communicated with anybody?
Did I see any signs of communication from the towers while I was there?
Yeah, the towers signal each other, and they signal the patrols.
About how frequently?
When a patrol walks by,
Okay.
mostly. But the towers are kind of within eyesight of each other. So that is important. They would have to be taken out simultaneously.
Simultaneously? All right. Well,
Yeah.
that's where the telepathic link will come in handy.
Do we have a rough idea of how long the patrol would take to make a cycle?
Yeah, I think I monitored that.
Yeah. Probably a full cycle would be about half an hour. They kind of walk, stop, look around, walk, stop, look around. And the patrols are spaced out so that they're most of the time covering, just visually covering a lot.
So it'll be a patrol in a given area about every 10 minutes, roughly.
Yeah. Easily you could, and sometimes in some areas, you could easily spot two patrols that maybe weren't nearby, but they would have line of sight to a particular place.
So when we attack the towers, the window of opportunity will be 10 minutes or less, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Tegero says, if I actually manage to remove a patrol, that actually widens your time. And I would have to do that before you attack the towers.
Good point.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I would
Makes
actually
sense.
have to be the first one in the valley. Because if they think that something's gone wrong, that my part of it is not going to work.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Are you up for this?
Well, I was afraid that I was going to have to do a lot of stabbing and running and stuff, but if what I have to do is try to tell a bunch of soldiers that they're doing their job wrong, that's actually something that I'm pretty good at.
All right.
Okay, so Orm and I, since Orm's casting the ritual, Sparkle, Queens,
Elves.
yeah, Adaloli.
Adaloli.
Techie and or the Sewerkin with Techie.
I say techie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely techie.
And then either Sakar or Little Sparkle.
I already got Sparkle in there.
in there. Yeah. So
Sparkle and Sakar are together, so
Right.
not both. Yeah.
I want both.
And then
the
But no, you
Had an
said
elf.
Edalali, yeah.
Sewerkin in the bunkers.
one of the Sewerkin for the bunkers, they can communicate at least until they get to the bunkers, and then one of the Sewerkin at the other patrol.
Okay.
As they
That's 8.
All right.
unless you want to cast it twice.
If you cast it twice, it removes it
So we can't.
from any
Nope.
Although
that were already a part of it.
Sakar and that one, and then
So
Yeah, you can try and make 2 loops, but
Yes.
that might get really confusing.
it would be.
That's what I was.
Oh, that's
like,
what you were getting.
That's what I was thinking was Orm and Ket in 2 of them, and then 6 people in one, 6 people in the other. So only 2 of us have to deal with everybody.
Yeah, I'm gonna veto that one just from a game master perspective, because I don't want a lot of basically
Way too
backchatter and
complicated.
having to police that, be like, you're not on that channel, you're not on that channel, you're not on that channel.
Fair enough.
And given that you'd be 30 of the people on the channel,
Exactly.
it would be even more complicated.
Yeah, so I'd be like, which one am I on this channel?
Who is us?
So
anyway?
it's not a bad idea, but also I don't think it's necessary.
Mm.
So
Probably not.
I think you'll probably be okay.
Yeah. We're doing that thing where we overplan things that probably don't need planning, and we're forgetting something obvious.
Yeah, there are a lot of variables in play.
Yeah. We'll walk in there and they'll be like, oh, look, it's a magic detector that turns off your invisibility. And then everything bursts into flame and we all die. And
How would anything bursting into flame kill most of us?
It would kill me.
Fair.
Kill her.
I said
still not
most.
fireproof.
Feathers are very flammable.
It's thunder flame.
I'm taking evasion
Thunder
next
flame,
level, guys, because I'm so tired of this.
Look, I'm not saying that I have fire resistance for a reason, because that would be wrong. I'm just saying that we're probably missing something.
Did I mention my new spell is a burst fire spell?
See?
So,
I need to get evasion
clearly,
now.
what we're missing is the fact that one or all of us are colossal screw-ups who will probably wreck the plan somewhere along the line.
Well,
Got it.
I don't think you're missing that. That's just
That's part of the consideration.
that's just something
was-
you can't plan for.
One of the first things Ket said was like, as soon as we start the plan, it's going to go wrong.
Mhm. All right. So, from a time perspective,
Mhm.
we begin with Techiotl infiltrating.
Mm-hmm.
Follow with twin attacks on the towers,
Immediately
which-
followed by attack on the tanks,
right?
then the border, or the last two patrols.
At what point do those under the
barracks.
cover of the fog come into play? After the towers fall or after the tanks are out of play?
After, look to Edaloli.
Would it be maybe easier to take out tanks once they're scrambling, or would it be easier to take them out in all in one place?
Yeah.
No, you don't want them spread out. You want to just take them all out while they're under the tent.
Do you want a bomb?
No, we should be able to take out the tanks by either taking out the drivers or jamming them.
So at the point that the towers have fallen,
Yeah,
Your
then everyone
forces.
else can.
We
Your
have to.
forces
We're
can
going to
attack
have
the
to come in from the north side or from the east, essentially, over where the north tower is. So once the towers are down, then that's going to be the first time where we can come down and head for the tanks.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll do the tanks and the border patrols at the same time.
got it.
Once those are down, we want to set off the bombs.
Sounds good.
Once everybody who can respond outside is taken care of.
Makes sense to me.
Did we get Teach in the loop?
I don't think so.
Okay, so Ket, Orem, Sparkle, Edaloli, Queen's Rebellious Daughter, Techie. Can you get to a point where you would actually be able to see what's going on in the valley? Teach?
I could. I think I could. You
Just
want the
recon.
fog to come down the mountain pass, right?
Yeah.
Well, in that case, no. If I could, it depends where in the valley you want the fog to come in through. I would essentially have to place myself. So if you wanted to come down the pass, I would not be able to because the mountains obscure everything except the pass. If you wanted to come down either from the east or the south, I might be able to get to a vantage point, but I would risk detection. I can still push the fog over the mountains and into the valley, though, from those directions.
I think that should be fine.
Yeah. We didn't necessarily need it from the pass. Once we take out the south tower, we can at least rush up to the ruins and then get the jump on the border patrols as soon as they come by.
Yeah, basically we want you guys deployed on the perimeter, so be ready to move as soon as the towers are out.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, just having the fog come in from the south should work, and having someone have eyes on everybody is probably going to be more helpful than the slight hiding that or the extra stealth that the fog might provide if it comes in with us.
Concealment is the word for which you're searching.
Yeah. So Teach
That's 7.
and Who's carrying the bombs?
The sewerkin.
Right, I'm actually
Who
asking
among us?
who
Oh.
is carrying the bombs? Which two of you are taking them?
You get 2 little hands up.
Would you be able to take a signal from when everything starts to go down to set them off, or do you want to be part of the loop?
We could take a signal if another sewerkin was part of your loop.
Okay. Whatever sewerkin is leading the other border patrol attack. Then.
Okay.
So yeah, that's the 8.
Okay.
All right. So what are they?
Me, Orem,
We need a chart.
Yes.
Sparkle,
Mhm.
Edaloli, Queen's Rebellious Daughter,
Mhm.
Teki, Teach, probably Maba'a, unless she's the one going in with Teki.
She doesn't have to be.
Yeah, whoever is leading the sewerkin attack on the other border patrol.
Okay. It can be Maba'a since she's a named sewerkin.
That'll work.
An elite
All right.
mook.
So we got
Yep.
names. Yes.
All right, Teki has a sewerkin in his pocket. Randus has made a couple of bombs.
I need all the mountain cow manure we can find.
They're called goats.
Are you certain that we don't have plenty of effluvium
Humanoid
already?
manure.
Good point.
Who's getting in on this ritual?
Yo,
Anyone else?
Sure, why
Can
not?
we all assist?
um,
Only the.
You have to hit 10 or higher.
Is there any
it's more.
downside?
Is it?
Can we
Can we
assist
assist
if
if we're
we're
not
fishing for
involved in
punches?
the?
Right.
if we're not the targets of said ritual?
Yeah, you can still assist in the ritual even if you're not involved. And,
Okay.
But remember, there is the slight
problem rolling a
problem
one.
of rolling a 1 and screwing up the whole thing.
Brian.
Brian. Let's say
With an
Brian.
opening like that.
What type of check is this?
Arcana.
Arcana. Let's roll the dice and see if I help.
Hey, another one.
I say at this point, unless your dump stat's int, you shouldn't be able to fail outside of a nat 1.
Challenge.
I know not what you say of this dump stat. I am a balanced human being.
So it looks like
20.
with everybody's help,
He suffers from mutual
Whoops.
attribute
wrong
dependency.
page there. We are at 32. 3 hours is all we've got.
That's probably longer than this assault will take.
Look, wait, you rolled a 28, right?
Yeah.
So that's everybody that rolled above 10. That's 2, 4, 6, 8 additional points, right? You get a plus
Yeah.
2 per person.
So
That's
that'd
only
be
a
a 36, which is still the same.
3 hours.
Oh, okay.
But not a 32.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, 32
not
would also
say-
be 3
We
hours.
didn't
Right,
reach the
sure.
40.
It's
No, we
not
didn't reach
only a
40.
36. 36 is ridiculous.
If you want something better, I mean, expend the resources and do it again. You can do that. I mean, Steven rolled pretty low.
So that's relying on Brian not to roll to roll something other than nat 1 twice.
Is it worth a try?
I don't think it's necessary. 3 hours should get us through.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
3 hours from now, Cat slaps himself. Damn it, damn it, damn it.
Oh, definitely. But
But that will probably be for assorted other reasons.
Remember, if you drink every time there's foreshadowing, drink now.
Set out on a 3-hour tour.
Oh,
God
man.
damn it, Brian.
Why would you do that?
Because we've reached the end of this
I'm
week's
going to bed.
episode. Find out next time if everything goes well or not. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to support the cause, head over to patreon.com/majorspoilers. Every little bit helps and allows us to do this show for you each and every week with minimum delays each year. And until next time, here's hoping all of your dice rolls are critical hits.
This podcast is copyright 2016 by Major Spoilers Entertainment, LLC.
Shows Network. For more information about this and other shows, visit frogpants.com. Audio program so good, it's like you're there.